Let me explain. Let me explain something. Check this out.
You've got to be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change.
Check this out.
Well, welcome to NumisMeeting number 5. Can't believe we're at 5 already. It's a couple months of Numis meetings. Aaron, Mr. How you gents doing today?
Doing good. Happy Friday, sir. Happy Friday to everyone else as well.
Yeah, happy Friday. So this week for the Numis meeting, we're going to be discussing a few topics, including the self-repaying loan. We're going to talk about the liquidity pool promo that we have, the Double Up program. We're going to talk about our educational DeFi content, and then a bunch of other stuff. And you probably noticed on Twitter, we also are doing a NFT giveaway because this week's been great. We hit over $1 million invested into the protocol. That's our first big milestone. Very excited about that. In a bear market, as everyone knows, it's not easy to build. It's not easy to grow. It's not easy to stay focused. But having a great community around you makes it a lot easier. So we've been doing NFT giveaways all week. We're going to do one for this. And then we have one more outstanding. So good luck to everyone listening, and anyone else that joins before we finish. We'll randomly select someone to receive that NFT. Mister, where would you like to start?
Why don't we start off with the LP Double Up program? But before I do, just want to, can I win one of those NFTs? Am I qualified? I would imagine not.
Sure. Yeah, you could win one, sir. To enter, just send me like half an ETH.
You got it.
Yeah, give you a discount.
Thanks. Thank you, Mr. Pat. Well, happy Friday again, everyone. Thank you for joining. So to just kind of kick off NumisMeeting 5, as Mr. Pat was teeing up right there at the top, we do want to talk about this brand new liquidity provider promotion that we're running. So we've talked on it a little bit before, but now, we've officially launched the program in an invite-only stage, in a beta stage. And we just want to be really careful with how we move here and make sure that there is sufficient demand for this program, and to make sure that everything is working according to expectations. And so far it mostly is, which is great. But let's talk about what that means, right? What is the LP Double Up program? So just like the name implies, the program is intended to give potential liquidity providers for NumisMe an extra incentive to provide that liquidity. And the way we provide that incentive is by effectively doubling every program participant. We double their liquidity pool position on their behalf. So, usually what happens is when you go into a regular LP for ostensibly the purpose of staking that LP token to earn rewards, when you go into a regular liquidity pool on Uniswap, the way that works is you put in, say, 10, you bring 10 ETH, right? 10 Ethereum, 10 Ether rather, and you deposit that into the pool. What Uniswap will do is they'll carve off half of that ETH. So it'll take 5 ETH and turn it into Noom, at which point you have 5 ETH worth of Noom tokens. And at that point, Uniswap will go ahead and pair them up, right? Because you always need the ETH and the Noom to be paired up in the liquidity pool. They'll pair it up on your behalf and put it into the pool and give you LP tokens that represent the value of your deposit into the pool, right? And so on a regular liquidity provider schema, you are looking at, if you bring 10 ETH in, you end up getting 5 ETH plus 5 ETH worth of Noom for a total of 10 ETH. And that is the value of your liquidity pool position, right? And you get liquidity pool tokens worth that 10 ETH, right? So when you stake those liquidity pool tokens, say on app.numisme.io, you will earn rewards at the proportional to your liquidity pool position. In this case, for a regular liquidity provider, it would be, you would earn rewards against the 10 ETH position, right? What we're offering, folks, is to double that position for free, okay? And that means that if you bring us 10 ETH, we will give you, as essentially a free loan, we'll give you the 10 ETH worth of Noom to pair up with your 10 original ETH. And at that what that means is we will put that into the pool for you, and you will receive LP tokens, liquidity pool tokens, worth your now doubled position. So again, if you bring us 10 ETH, you get LP tokens worth 20 ETH. And when you stake those LP tokens at app.numisme.io, you will earn rewards at essentially double the rate that you earn from just putting 10 ETH into the regular liquidity pool. And that's how we're doubling it up for everybody, right? That's the liquidity, that's the LP double up program. Now, as I mentioned at the top, we are still in invite only phase. We're only going to be in beta for maybe another week or two, so not too much longer. But once once we exit the beta phase of this program, we'll open it up to everybody. But for now, it is invite only. You can go to app.numisme.io. When you go to the liquidity tab on our DApp, you can click on overview, and right there underneath the regular Uniswap LP option, you'll see a link for the LP double up program, and it says in parentheses, right, invite only. If you click P double up there, what it'll do is it'll kick you into our Google form. That is our application. We just ask for a little bit of information. We just want to make sure that you are a known entity. Ideally, you're in our community already, right? You're either in our Discord or in our Telegram and or following us on Twitter, which hopefully everybody here is, right? We'll qualify you and whitelist you to enter the LP double up program. It does require us to whitelist you, so it is important that you get that application through. But also, please don't hesitate if anybody has any questions about the LP double up program. Explained it well. Any questions out there? We're always on deck on Discord, on Telegram, and on Twitter. Just shoot us a DM. As me,
So
Mr. Pap, Aaron, we're ready to answer your questions. Sorry, Pap, go ahead.
no, so sir, if I'm gonna recap that, basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna provide half of the LP position. You're a person that doesn't want exposure to anything but Ethereum, but you like Noom, you think we're great guys. You could bring your Ethereum and you could lock it into the protocol, into the LP. We'll provide the other half. You don't have to sell your Noom. You don't have to split. Or I'm sorry, you don't have to sell your ETH. You don't have to split your ETH up. I think that's great value. And I'm gonna do you one better. Instead of having to reach out to us on Twitter, I will put the link up for the contact form for that, just to make it easier on anyone that might be interested. So, sir, one, I love that, but two, this is actually my favorite topic that we're going to talk about today: the self-repaying loans. What's the update on that? That's the feature that I've been super excited about.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're excited. Hopefully others are excited as well. So yeah, let's talk about the self-repaying loans a little bit. Just to remind, we have mentioned it a few times in the past, and we are branding the self-repaying loans product as PayMe, right? It's a little bit of a play on NumisMe, but it's also a play on the fact that we pay your loan down for you. It's like we're paying you. So it's the PayMe self-repaying loans program, and well, I should say product. Right. And we have an update for everybody. We've been heads down and really focusing our resources on making sure that we're bug free across the board on all our DeFi products that are currently live. We've also been really focused on getting the LP double up program launched in beta mode, and because of that, we've taken that resource away from things like working on the self-repaying loans. So we took a pause there, and we are now in a position, now that the LP double up program is in beta mode, we have retasked our development resources so that we can get back into focusing on the PayMe self-repaying loans. So the way this works, right, is we are offering crypto loans off of stablecoin collateral to anyone that is looking to essentially borrow off of their assets, right? Off of their stablecoin assets. And what we are offering is for folks to bring us, say, $1,000 worth of stablecoin. And what we'll do is we'll take that $1,000 worth of stablecoin as collateral and deposit those into our yield generating vaults, right? And as soon as you deposit, we are offering up to a 60% LTV that is loan to value. And that allows the depositor, the user of the PayMe self-repaying loans product, that allows them to be given instantly, essentially, up to $600 off of their $1,000 deposit, up $600 of stablecoin that they can use any way they want right away, right? So again, you deposit $1,000, you can get back up to $600 to use as you see fit. And what we'll do is we will pay that $600 loan back for you on behalf of the depositor, right? And the reason we can do that is because we have already stood up our yield engine, right? Our yield generating vaults are able to generate positive yield against that $1,000 that was initially deposited. And what that means is that over the course of a matter of years, just a few short years, right? We will be able to pay off that $600 loan. And once we do pay off that $600 loan, we unlock the collateral and we give it right back to you, the initial depositor. So at the end of that loan repayment period, essentially, if you didn't end up using that $600 loan and it's just sitting there, think of it this way: you, at the end of the repayment period, you will have $1,600 against your initial deposit of $1,000. So that represents, look at it a few different ways, right? That you can look at it like you're borrowing against your future yield on your collateral. You can also look at it as a 60% return on your initial investment over the course of a few years. You can also look at it as a way to essentially create a fairly risk-free yield strategy for yourself. Because if you put that $1,000 initially, right, in stablecoin, rather than putting that into a higher risk, say, yield strategy, you can take that $600 loan that you get off of it and use that to go into whatever yield strategy you prefer, and not have to worry that you might lose your initial, right? Because your initial is safe with us. It's safe in our stablecoin vault and it's generating yield. That $600 is kind of like icing on top of the cake, right? You can do with it whatever. You buy some shoes, go buy a car if you end up taking a big enough loan for a car, or go have a go put it into whatever higher risk strategy that you aren't concerned of losing your initial anymore, because that $600 is essentially free for you, right? So that's at a high level, it's essentially the PayMe Self-Repaying Loans offers 60% loan to value. Bring us $1,000, we'll give you $600. We'll pay off your loan over the course of a handful of years, and at the end of that loan repayment period, we give you back your initial $1,000, right? And that is the update from a project perspective. There is, we have pretty much fully stood up our staging environment, and that is on the Kovan net. That's the Ethereum testnet, and we're connecting all the different pieces that need to be connected. And as soon as that's ready for testing, that is the next phase, right? But now that we're here, now that we're in our staging environment, we can start to play around with it ourselves and really make sure that it's ready for production. And as soon as that is,
All
we're
right.
going to
Hey,
launch.
oh, you're back. I think I lost you for a second, but if everyone missed that, basically we're going to launch fairly soon on that one.
Yes, sorry. Yeah,
Uh,
dealing with some Wi-Fi issues here. Sorry about that.
no worries, sir. What about that? How do we stack up against competitors in terms of the PayMe service?
That's a great question. And that's one of the reasons we're so excited about the PayMe loan product, is that we are very competitive in it with this product, right? If you take a look at some of our biggest competitors in that space, what we offer is a 60% loan to value. So in essence, you can take out a loan worth up to 60% of your deposit. Our competitors are offering 50%, right? And so you get that little bit of extra LTV. From a liquidation perspective, other types of crypto loans that you can get out there, they do come with liquidation risk, right? So you do have to make sure you manage your collateral, make that you don't get liquidated, which essentially means that you get your entire collateral position taken away from you and have to still repay that back, right? And we offer no liquidation, so we're quite competitive from a liquidation standpoint, I would say that is a much safer play than taking a loan out against especially against a volatile asset, where there is liquidation risk. For us, no liquidation risk, right? And the other way that we're really competitive is it turns out that we have the ability to generate much higher yields against the collateral deposited, against that stablecoin collateral that was deposited into PayMe. That means that we are able to repay your loan for you much, much more quickly than our competitors can, right? We're essentially, just modeling it out real quick. Our closest competitor would take on the scale of decades to pay your loan back on your behalf. Now that's still good. It's still paying it back for you, right? But not everybody has the appetite. Not everybody has the ability to wait decades for their initial deposit to come back to them, right? What we're offering is the ability to do that on a matter of single digit years. And rates are variable, so I don't want to beholden ourselves to a hard and fast repayment timeline, but we are in the lower single digit years as far as how long it will take to pay down that loan. And of course, one thing I should mention is all depositors will have the option to pay back their loan early manually so that they can unlock their collateral, their initial deposit, and withdraw that. And a lot of our competitors, they offer the same thing. The thing is, though, again, because our yields are much higher on the collateral, we can pay that back for you if you're willing to wait. And then we'll give your initial position all the way back to you. But yeah, thanks for that question, Pat. That's all of those are different reasons why we're really excited for the launch, the imminent launch, really, of our PayMe Self-Repaying loans.
Yeah, and one of the things I like about it, because that loan's going to be in stable coins, correct? And so one of the things I've been talking to some folks about in other circles, you're looking at the current market conditions, and especially if you are a European right now, you've seen the euro just basically plummet over the past year. It's dropped to the point where in the past week, I believe it was below parity with the dollar, meaning that a dollar would get you more than a euro in exchange. And so the euro has been losing a lot of strength. And so what some folks did that saw this coming was they moved into US dollar stable coins. And then by just sitting even in US dollar stable coins, that's what, on the current valuation of the euro, that's almost like a 20% gain over the past year that you had just by sitting in stables. And so there's a lot of ways that you can use this to your benefit if you're in a risk-averse, risk-off type of situation where maybe you're not investing a lot, but you do have some cash either in the bank or even locked into our vaults. Well, if you're planning to sit on that cash for a while, or if you have, currency that's currently struggling, and the euro isn't the only one, you're seeing this in actually quite many countries around the world. Think about how you can take advantage of the services that we provide to protect the value of your money, to protect your capital. And that's just smart. That has nothing to do with investing. That's just being smart about how you store your money when it's not at use, right? So let's see. I think next on the agenda, sir, we're just going to talk a little bit, kind of a segue from there. We're going to talk a little bit about the market. So the cool thing, looking just at the NUM itself, in terms of US dollar value, if you go back 1 week, we have gained almost, is that correct? Making sure. We've gained almost a 50% appreciation on the value of the NUM token over the past week. So, big congratulations to everyone. If you had a position in NUM, this is a spicy time, and not just NUM. This is kind of a spicy time for the whole market. I know, sir, you must be feeling some kind of way about Bitcoin. Bitcoin's certainly been scaring the bears a little bit, I think.
Oh yeah, well, hey, well, you know me, I'm an OG, right? So I kind of have a soft spot in my heart for BTC. So yeah, it is really good to see the rally that's currently underway, and I think it's really interesting to see the price action on BTC sort of defy the traditional coupling, the traditional marriage that we see between the price action of BTC and the equities markets, right? Stocks and what have you. It's an interesting scenario that we're in because, there is that narrative there that at some point the expectation among a lot of Bitcoin fans and certainly the maxis is that BTC should decouple, right? It should stop tracking the equities markets. In other words, the price of BTC should stop tracking the price of the stock market or the value of the stock markets, and that I think we're almost seeing a little bit of a preview of what that looks like, right? We're getting a lot of red days on equities, and we're seeing some good green days on BTC. And I say it's an interesting time because we've never been, BTC has never been in a scenario where global markets are on the verge or already starting to see recessionary pressures. And couple that with the incredible inflation that's happening in the US and certainly around the world. I think it sets up BTC for some really juicy price action. And the reason that that's exciting for me is that sure, the price of BTC goes up, but we are still very much in a market where Bitcoin does determine the weather of the overall crypto market, right? And if BTC is able to decouple from traditional equities, we could kick off that next big bull run that will bring Ethereum up, although Ethereum has been overperforming against BTC. And when Ethereum goes up, right, we get renewed interest in the Ethereum ecosystem. And that's where the Noom token lives. And that's positive for Noom because not only are we going to see positive price appreciation on the Noom token, but it also gives us the ability to share even more revenue, right? Because we are sharing our revenue in ETH, it just becomes that much more. It becomes the share of the revenue is worth more, right? As the price of ETH goes up. So
Yeah,
that's really exciting, man.
it is really exciting. So some of the things that we're watching, if you don't always have time to read the news, to look at charts, then your best kind of indicator on where the macro picture is going is looking at the state of the fiat currencies. And this is my advice, right? Not financial advice, but this is one of my favorite things to do, which is just looking at the US dollar index. The US dollar index is just a measure of the dollar's strength against other leading currencies around the world. And its strength is a reflection of the current macroeconomic picture. And in turn, the strength or weakness of the dollar has a very strong impact on speculative markets, on equities, on crypto. And, to some people, the dollar might be approaching that kind of final parabolic rally. It's at the highest strength level it's been in 20 years. And part of that is also at the euro, which is it probably the weakest it's ever been. So, one of those things, just throw into Google DXY or US dollar index, kind of keep tabs on it. If you see the dollar index starting to drop or to drop quickly, we might, buckle in. We might be in for quite a spicy time in crypto. But until then, Mr. The other thing I'm watching is, the US Fed, the Federal Reserve, who is currently trying to tackle that record high inflation. There's only one more meeting, I believe, where they typically announce a rate increase, which usually is kind of bearish for markets when they increase the rates. There's only one more of those before the midterm election cycle in the US. And, this isn't financial advice. Again, none of this is just because we want to keep everyone informed and educated. But there's some analysts who believe that as we approach that midterm election cycle, that they're going to relax a little bit on rate increases, which may give markets even more room to breathe, a little bit more room to recover. So all things to be keeping an eye out for. So I guess with that, are there any other updates that we have on the project, sir?
Yeah, that pretty much, those are the big updates, actually. We have our LP Double Up program live and accepting applications. In fact, we've already onboarded a few folks. And we're seeing some good initial demand, and we'd love to get more applications from everyone. So please do, if you are interested in coming into the Noom community and becoming a liquidity provider for us. We do have really juicy rewards going out to our liquidity providers. And if you are so interested in doubling your LP position for free, please do apply. And yes, we are back into development mode on our PayMe Self-Repaying loans, and so that will be forthcoming as soon as we can. We're just so excited, but we also, despite any excitement, we do want to make sure we do things the right way, right? And that's just the approach we use every time with every product. We want to make sure it's safe. We want to make sure the user experience is good. And to that end, we just want to make sure we take the time to sufficiently test and really make sure that we can debug the product before we go live. Um, and yeah, those are pretty much the big updates for this
All
week.
right.
I
So
do see Griffin has requested. I believe there's probably a question in there that we
sure,
can.
yeah. If but right before we get to any questions, and by the way, if anyone does want to come up and talk, comments, questions, market commentary, anything, this is our time as a community to just catch up. Aaron, are there any updates in terms of how did the poker night go? I think we had 200 people come out for that tournament, and then we're still doing regular smaller tournament or I guess game nights in addition to those.
Yeah, that was so much fun last week. We had a great turnout. Not only did we fill that platform to its maximum capacity of 200 players at the tournament table, but we had dozens of people that were still waiting to play as well. So we're really, really looking forward to have some larger
Uh-oh,
games.
you're
Make sure.
breaking up, Aaron.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah.
hear?
So here, I think Mister, that's not me, right? That's him.
Yeah, it's cutting out a little bit.
All right. Yeah. Hey, Aaron, I'll just recap, which is basically that was awesome. 200 players. I can't tell you guys how much fun that was. And we're going to be doing that again. But in between those big tournaments, we do weekly game nights. We have dozens of guys that like to come in, drop out. If you're me, you just go in, you lose all your chips right away, and then you just sit there and chat because I am still so awful at poker. But yeah, please join us. And Aaron's your guy to go to for that. He's the poker extraordinaire, and he's the one that's also coordinating with some of these other communities. So also, if you have a community, you think your community would like to join us in some of these game nights and some of these tournaments, we love to make friends during the bear market. So reach out, say hi.
Yeah, absolutely. And I should plug a little bit. Maybe Aaron can color this in a little bit as well, but we're looking to do an even bigger tournament, right? Larger prize pool. We'll crank up the prize pool a few X. We're opening it up to potentially up to 1,000 players so that we don't leave anybody kind of in the cold, right? We have a 200-person maximum registration limit. We're looking at 1,000-person potentially registration limit, as well as more prizes, right? Bigger prize pool, more NFT prizes, and certainly our tournament partners, sponsor partners, will be throwing in some juicy prizes in addition. So I'm really excited for that. I'm just hoping I don't get knocked out on the first table like I did this last one. That was a humbling experience. But hey, if you guys like poker, if you guys and gals like poker, or if you just want to hang out, right? We do a live voice chat while we're playing. And it's really fun to just, blow off a little steam by playing some poker, whether you're good at it or not. It's a fun way to blow off some steam. So, yeah, Aaron, anything to add to that, sir?
How am I coming through for you guys?
Better.
Sounded good.
Okay, good. Yeah, no, so next time is definitely going to be bigger. We want to make sure that we're not excluding anybody. If we have to do multiple tournaments, 200 max table tournaments, we'll do that. But either way, we're gonna keep growing the community engagement with some really, really fun game nights that we've got planned out. And we want to keep it going as big as we can on that because ultimately the people who still are in the space right now and participating in it are the kinds of people that you can form long-lasting crypto relationships with. People who are going to be here through the good times and the bad. So those are going to be your rock hard community members, your rock hard partners. And moving forward, I see a lot of good things coming from that kind of heavy community interaction.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Aaron, because right, part of what we're do is sure we're trying to build the future of finance and we're trying to make, financial products more accessible, more just, right? And help folks, right? We want to lift all the boats with the tide that is NumisMe. But really also what is it helps motivate at least us to build, and hopefully folks on the other side of the microphone right now, motivates them to stay engaged, is the community, right? We're here to learn together, we're here to build together, and we're here to help each other, right? With information, whether it's crypto related or not information. The communities that form around within the crypto ecosystem, and certainly within DeFi, are the best communities on this planet, right? And I've spent a good time in marketing, and part of my career was really focused on nurturing, online communities to support brands. And I've never seen anything like the communities that are within DeFi, that are within crypto. And it's like a family, right? And what better way to bond with your family than to play some games? Really, it's like a family game night is the way I look at it. So really good point, Aaron, about the community, the engagement and the development of the community that we see through these game nights and these poker tournaments.
Yeah, I agree. I went, and I look at, even in the audience, I see him in there, and I think, man, he's sticking around. I'm sticking around. I know we're going to make it. We went from liquidating ourselves in a bull market to liquidating ourselves in a bear market, man. That's the kind of friends and partnerships you need. People that are going to stick through it. Good, bad, and different.
We're all in this together, and we're all in it, good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
Stronger together, guys.
So you said we had some questions. I'd love to hear some feedback. Anyone want to come up and chat?
Yeah, I just Griffin, I gave you microphone rights. You have to unmute. There you go. How's it going?
Yeah, hi. How you doing?
Doing great.
All right.
Thanks for joining.
Nice to see everybody. Nice to hear the updates. Nice to hear everything. But I just needed to bring a question to the table, so we're gonna discuss it. And I mean, I've been chilling and I've been marketing, talking to people, but they keep asking me these questions. So I just felt, okay, why not? Let me share it here, so you just shed more light to it. So I have some few people keep saying, okay, will there be like a physical company where like, let me say, would there be like another company out of America with such votes that will be able to occupy other currencies, or is it just for the US dollars? And also, I have questions like people saying, you said there's going to be an app, usable on Android and iOSs, but then we're still waiting to hear from that. And also, I keep hearing people asking me about the network fee of ETH. How do you plan to make all this available, and how do you plan to manage them?
Okay, let me try. I'm so bad with multiple questions. So please do keep me on track, keep me honest if I forget one of these. But maybe I'll work my way up from your last question. The mobile app, right? The mobile app is in development right now. We don't have any updates. It is a complicated product, right? While we want to make the product as simple and seamless and have a user experience that we're benchmarking against, say, a Venmo or a Cash App or a Revolut app, right? Super simple, even simpler than Revolut, really, if you're in the UK and or in Europe. The actual product itself is really complicated, and because we are working with our crypto and fiat rail partners, there is a lot of interconnecting technologies that we do need to make sure not only are we compliant with, but also make sure that they work together. It is a complicated process. So, the update I have for you is we are currently still developing the mobile app. I can't give you a timeline on that, but just know that it is complicated. It will take some time, but we are still working on that. For now, we are really focused on delivering value in the DeFi space. And as soon as we can, we intend to become the first project that can cross that DeFi, that online to offline chasm. We intend to bring that real world DeFi, the real world utility through our mobile app, right? I think you also asked a question about the transaction fees. And yes, Ethereum transaction fees can be higher than ideal at times. We've seen some pretty low gas prices lately, but really, the gas prices are a little bit out of control. They're a lot of bit out of our control. If it was up to us, we would keep gas prices at single digit way for you all. But we understand that it is a challenge, but we can't, get to the scale that we're looking to get to solely on Ethereum, because if we're planning to onboard the masses, the retail masses, the mainstream consumers that may not even realize how much Ethereum gas costs are. Once they see that, it will become a big barrier to entry for us. So we are very mindful that right now Ethereum transaction costs may be higher than you'd like, but we plan to mitigate those transaction fees once we get to our longer term for our roadmap goal, which is NumisMe Pro, that will have our next generation canonical vaults coming online. That will be on a different chain, and we'll offer bridges, and we'll make sure that through a combination of different tactics that we're looking at right now to either significantly mitigate the transaction costs and or get rid of the transaction costs altogether, and we will bear the cost of those transactions for the user. And certainly once the mobile app's online, we'll use some of these tactics to also make sure that there are no transaction fees to the user, right? For the user that is using the mobile app, that is going to be a very much retail audience, and it should be seamless, it should be fast. So we're looking at chains and L2s that are super quick in terms of time to finality, in terms of how long it takes you to complete and execute and complete a transaction, but also have much lower transaction fees. And because the transaction fees are so much lower, we can use our different mechanics to lower those fees further and or get rid of the fees altogether, and NumisMe would pay the cost of those fees. So that hopefully answers your question there, Griffin, on the Ethereum transaction costs.
Awesome.
I think your first question, remind me of your first question, sir.
Yeah, I was asking if, I think you basically have answered that. So let me just ask one more question so someone else can add. All right. So concerning the loan you spoke about, you said we have to be able to give $1,000 in stable coin to be able to partake of the loan. So is there like a limit to the loan we can take? And also, must we have $1,000 to be able to partake from the loan system? What if I have $100? What if I even have lower than $100? Does this make me eligible to partake out of this, or I just have to have $1,000? Can you just
No,
can you just
okay,
give us
that's
an
a great
understanding?
question. Yeah, no, thank you for that, Griffin. That's a great question. And sorry if I confused anybody, but just to be really clear, I only used the dollars as an example. I could have used $100 as an example. I could have used 10,000, $100,000 as an example. No, there are no minimums, right? So you could have $100 and come in and take a $60 loan. Sure. Is it, at level of collateral deposit, it becomes a question of whether the transaction fees are going to be worth it to take out a $60 loan. So that is totally up to the user, but we certainly will not be blocking anybody from using our PayMe Self-Repaying Loans product. As far as maximum, there's also no maximum. There is a soft cap in terms of just how many stablecoins we can give out at any one time. But as we scale, as our liquidity gets deeper, right, that soft cap on loan size will creep up and up and up. But there is no hard maximum, and there certainly is no minimum to use PayMe Self-Repaying Loans.
Amazing. Okay, that is awesome. All right, I love the update and I love everything. So I think that's just it. Okay, one more thing. Okay, after a person takes the loan, let's say you took a loan of $600, is there like a time limit? Is there like a time frame of which you need to pay back? Or like you said, there is a way the system will generate you paying back. I don't really get that part. So I really need you to just talk a little about that.
Yeah, so the system will pay back the loan for you over a number of years. But I think your question is more directed at the manual repayment that a user can do. Yes, you can repay back your loan manually and not wait for us to pay it back for you. You can repay it manually and get your collateral back whenever you choose, as long as that it happens before we repay your loan back. So really, nobody's going to be trying to repay their loan back after we fully repay it. So in essence, no, there is no limit to when you can repay your loan back manually. There is no limit to how long you have your stablecoin loan for and how long you have to use it. Like once it's yours, right? And you can choose to sit on it. You can choose to use it. You can choose to go buy new with your loan, right? And so whatever you want to do with it, yeah, no limits there either. Does that answer your question there, Griffin?
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. So I'm grateful. That is all my questions. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for the question, sir. It's great to get the engagement, great to hear voices on our Twitter spaces, and yeah, big old heart to you. Right on. So I'll take you off of speaker rights for now. Do we have any other questions in Discord, Telegram, or anyone that's listening currently?
Yeah, and while everyone's thinking about whether or not they have a question or they want to come up, the idea of if you're international and you're trying to transact with us in its current iteration, I think we only support U.S. dollar stablecoins, right? But you can easily convert to that on different exchanges. You can exchange. Actually, there's quite a multitude of different types of stablecoins out there. But once the mobile phone app is up, I I believe that's a non-issue at that point, right, sir? It's the you mentioned the partner that we would be working with. They handle that, and they can convert your fiat currency, your money, into or get it onto the app, right?
Yes, but that is going to be dependent on our phased rollout. We do plan to roll it out really from a really considered approach, and what that means is we may not be going live in all parts of the world at the same time. But as soon as we do, yeah, we can process through the mobile app any fiat to onboard into crypto through us.
Outstanding. So did we see any more hands, or is this did we
Oh,
see
we
all
got
the
a
emojis flying?
modulus. Yeah, modulus had requested for a hot second there. Does that let me get you here, sir. Is that add a speaker? Okay. Just if you unmute your mic there, modulus. Welcome to the stage.
I see him as a listener.
I think you have to accept the speaker rights, sir.
Where he just bumped the button, which is okay.
Okay. Well, if you want to listen, you have the rights. Please do. Otherwise, no worries.
Yeah, I think AW, and I see W Trader here. This is one of the fine gentlemen that won one of our NFTs this week. He won the Creepy Club, which, by the way, gets him access to their. They host in real life parties. They host online events. They put out music. They drop free NFTs, and it's just cool artwork. Sir, you got to update that profile picture, man. I love me some Steve Harvey, but that Creepy Club is gorgeous piece of art.
That Steve Harvey PFP takes me back. Takes me back a minute. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Good to see you
there's
at W time.
Can you hear me now?
it's a little history there. Hey,
Hello,
Modulus.
Hey,
yeah.
sir.
I'm sorry. I want to ask concerning the trust. Like some people, like they won't want to like deposit money in the stuff. Yeah. I want to ask like
You're,
how can
you're,
someone how can they
you're
trust you
breaking up
guys?
a little bit, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I was talking about the trust. Like some people won't want to like deposit money in your stuff. Yeah. I want to ask like how can you trust you guys?
Sure. You're asking why should you trust us to help
Yeah.
help you invest your money?
Yes. Yeah.
Sure. Well, first off, the first place I would look is audits. I personally would never invest into any DeFi protocol that hasn't commissioned and completed quality auditing. And this means that the team didn't do the audit themselves. That they paid professionals to do it, which we have. I believe, sir, we're up to three audits. Is that correct, Mister?
That is right, and really the one we're most proud of is the Code Arena audit because it's really almost not right to call them an audit. They go so deep into your code and they give you so much more feedback than just critical, exploitable, right, issues with your smart contracts. They go as far as gas optimization, user experience. The list goes on as far as the number of we get, and And to give everyone just kind of an idea of how much more comprehensive Code Arena is than, say, some of these centralized audits, we've done multiple audits on the same smart contracts, right? And that gives us the ability to compare one-to-one, side by side, just how deeply these audit firms go. And for example, our centralized audit came back with just a handful of findings, right? But whereas the same smart contract through Code Arena came back with literally hundreds of findings, and a good amount of those, I would say 40 to 60% are duplicates. But regardless, we get so many more findings that we patch, right? That we address before we go live. That is really the biggest assurance we give you from a smart contract security perspective. So yeah, we're multi-audited, and yeah, we're just really quite proud of our Code Arena audit.
Yeah, and then in addition to that, it's important to note that the founder Misam is still here. Hey, Misam. This is an actual business entity, Mr. Correct? You probably have the correct words. The right words are eluding.
Yeah, right. And not only, is the token audited, but in terms of business structure, we are looking to make sure that we keep the DeFi side of the house a bit separated from the real world side of the house, just for potential regulations that come down the line, what have you. Yeah, it's great to have Misam here. Hey, Misam, a little shout out. But we do have other questions here. Hopefully that answers your question there, Modulus. So W Trader has speaker rights currently. I've given speaker rights to Levit as well as to Jake. Please don't all crowd the mic, but yeah, we'd love to get some other questions or even comments. Just come chat at us. We'd love to hear from you. I think W Time, you were up first.
W Trader.
W Trader. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks very much for the NFT. It's amazing. It brings me right back to the 90s feeling of that grunge.
Yeah. I know that one, sir. I know that one too well as the resident boomer here.
Yeah. I did have one question though. Like with a bank, if you get a loan at a bank, and the bank goes bankrupt, there's usually some kind of a deal or contingency plan. How would that? Have you guys thought of plans for that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And when you speak to banks, what we're seeing right today and almost every other day, if not weekly, we're seeing new stories of different crypto firms that are halting withdrawals because of liquidity issues, right? And then bankruptcy proceedings and restructuring and all that. To your question, though, W Trader, we are not at risk of any of those scenarios, and that is because we need to make sure that everyone understands the distinction between what we do in true DeFi, true decentralized finance, versus, say, a regular bank or even a lot of these centralized crypto firms. We are decentralized and we are permissionless and non-custodial. What that means is we never take ownership of your assets. We can never control your assets. You have to give us permission to even route your assets through our vault and our yield strategies, right? And we cannot prevent anyone from withdrawing ever. When it comes to like the what would be maybe a bankruptcy in the crypto space, right? That would not affect any users either, because all our vault TVL is non-custodial. That means that even though you've given us permission to route your assets, you retain ownership of your assets. And in the worst case scenario where if the website were to even go down, you can always access and withdraw your assets directly on the blockchain using, for example, Etherscan, right? Or any blockchain explorer on a chain that we're on. And the process is a little bit more technical, but it's totally within reach of most folks that are DeFi savvy. So yeah, there are no risks for withdrawal halting, even pausing. There's no risk of you ever losing ownership of your funds. While we can't protect users against price volatility on that underlying asset in our vaults, what we can ensure is that you will always have access to it and you will always be able to withdraw. Does that answer your question there, W Trader?
Perfectly, and also gives some security that I think a lot of people in this time are seeking, and the future of DeFi has to come with security like this. So you're cutting edge once again. Nice.
Yeah,
Thank you for
and
the kind words, sir.
yeah, thank you, W Trader, Leveler, Little Poppy, man. We got so many names for you. We got to settle on one. And so, Mister, there was also a discussion, I believe, and I don't want to put words into your mouth or say that we're ready to put this feature out, but we were looking into insurance as well, right?
Yeah, that's a little bit further down our roadmap as well, but we are cultivating partnership conversations now to offer insurance. Ideally, we are exploring in-house insurance and using, for example, junior positions to insure senior positions. But at the very least, we do intend to offer third-party insurance, and that would be really, I think, that would be after at least NumisMe Pro goes live. So we're talking about, a little bit down our roadmap, but yes, yeah, definitely plans are in action on that one. And I just want to close off real quick. I think we cut Modulus off too quickly. He just popped off. I want to give him a chance to follow up with any questions. I think we moved on too quickly. But okay, he's gone. So we can take the next question. Who wants to go there? I think Levit and Jake, you both have speaker rights. Oh, Modulus is back. Hey, Modulus, if you want to ask if you had a follow-up, sorry, I just got done saying how we may have moved on from your question too quickly. Please do request speaker if you do have another one. But I think Jake has muted his speaker.
Hey, just a quick question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Jake. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the question. How's it going?
I might have joined a little bit late, so I might have missed this, but referral programs, like if I wanted to introduce people to this, do you guys have that built in? I think you guys said you were working on it, but just wanted to see if there's an update on that.
Oh man, thank you. That was actually okay. Well, let's talk about it now. That was supposed to be the update for the next Numis meeting, actually, but we'll give you a little bit of alpha on this one. Yeah, you're definitely get out of my brain, sir. Yes, so we do have our ambassador program coming online soon. We're putting the final touches on it. We're actually about to kick off website development, web page development to really explain how the program works. But the intention is to incentivize our community to go out there and really network, right? Let's get that awareness through our first degree, second degree, even third degree network effects and tell the world about all the value propositions that we offer. For anybody that brings us TBL, we do have a referral program in the works. So yes, the short answer to your question is yes, but it's not just a referral program, right? We're incentivizing folks to help us speak with for example, investment DAOs, right? If you have any relationships with DAOs that have treasuries that are looking to deploy their capital to make that capital work for them, right? To generate yield on their DAO treasuries, we'll incentivize you that way. We can consider that a bit of a referral program. If you bring in direct relationships that come into our vaults and or bring sizable investments into the Newman directly, whether if it's on the open market or we do an OTC deal, we'll give you an incentive, a little bit of a reward for that, right? And so yes, referral programs are in the works, but let's we'll give more hard details on that when we're a little bit more ready to talk about it. But Jake, thank you for your question. Do you have any other questions, sir? Okay. Well, thanks for your question, Jake.
Yeah, that was a good one. I will say, even though we're not ready to give the details, if someone does have a really good lead, well, reach out to us. Don't wait till the next Numis meeting.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a good point, Mr. Bennett. I think Levit has a question or a comment. You do have speaker rights, sir. You just got to unmute your mic.
Hey there, can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you for joining. How's it going?
Yeah, thank you very much. So I would like to know something real quick. It's maybe not pertaining to DeFi self-repaying loans and LP double, but as a new holder, do we get to participate in the votings of maybe new decisions or stuff like that? Can I maybe say something and then it will be accepted if it is voted?
Yeah, okay, that's a great question. And so to be clear, right, anybody that is holding Noom and chooses to stake Noom does get to participate in voting, but the voting is limited to voting for emissions to go to the vault of your choice, to vote extra emissions to go to whichever vault you choose, right? So that is going to be the pretty much the entirety of the ability to vote with your staked Noom, right? I think what you're asking is, do we have any DAO events in place? Do we have the ability to vote on the way the project is going? And, just based on everything we've seen in the space and over the past, 2+ years, as well as our own personal experiences as a team, we made this distinct decision to not be a DAO right now, right? The long-term vision is to hand off the project, the DeFi side of things, to a DAO to become self-sustaining so that it could be fully autonomous. But right now, there is no ability to use your staked Noom vote for project decisions. And the reason we took that position right now is we are in a building mode in an environment that is full of fear and full of skepticism, right? And in that kind of environment, we believe that going full DAO right now, giving folks the ability to directly influence the direction of the project will hurt us, right? Because we're in building mode, because we're in scale up mode, we want to make sure that we're able to move as quickly as we feel comfortable with. Not saying that we move the quickest in the space, but we want to be able to move as quickly as we are comfortable with, and to be able to make the decisions that we believe are going to be for the best of the project, right? For the community, for all Noom holders. So right now the answer is no, but the long-term goal will start to phase in more DAO components into the project, but right now that is not possible.
Okay, so seeing that you said something about the DeFi. Now, in the DeFi project, it is accepted that users are meant to be merged for it to be standard. But how do you tend to attract these users to the project and users?
Yeah, so right, so we're addressing that in a couple different ways, right? There are more quote unquote mainstream users within DeFi that we're looking to get awareness with, get in front of, make sure that they have eyes on us, and we're doing that through various community events, through the poker tournaments, through a little bit of digital marketing. Just where we are as a crypto space, a DeFi space, the challenge there is that marketing dollars are really inefficient right now. So we're looking for different ways to get the word out there without having to spend against this marketing, right? So we intend to be able to talk to all the mainstream, quote unquote, retail users within the DeFi ecosystem. But I think, the biggest audience that we have down the line is going to be those folks that, maybe don't even know about crypto, barely know crypto, or maybe they know crypto and don't hold it. Maybe they hold crypto and they don't know DeFi, right? These are the folks that are going to be the biggest audience for us. And the way we'll be addressing that once the mobile app and our retail partnerships, our real life partnerships are in place, is to do a lot of partner marketing, right? We'll lean on our partners to get the word out there. We'll have, signage and things like that at the actual point of sale in the stores themselves, get some email marketing out there. As part of our affiliate or our referral program, our ambassador program that Jake spoke to, will be asking for email addresses, and that's going to help us start to build an email list, and that will help us to build a marketing program in the future that will be able to use that email list and be able to get our promotions, our content in front of the same types of folks that are in our email list, right? And that helps us really speak to a much bigger audience, right? And yeah, so hopefully that answers your question there, Libby.
Yeah, sure it does, man. Sure it does. I'm a strong believer of Noom. I believe strongly in Noom. My friend Peter Griffin actually introduced me to Noom, so we stick to it.
Great, and that's what we're trying to do, right? Your friend told you about it and you came in, and now if you tell your friends, maybe they'll tell their friends. That is what we're asking everybody. And along the way, hey, once we have our ambassador program up and running, or even before, if you have any deals, or if you know anybody that is interested in investing in our vaults and the tokens, please do come talk to us. We'd love to make sure that you're rewarded for your networking efforts, for your own personal marketing efforts. But yes, that's really good to hear. That's amazing, Libby. Thank you for being in the community.
Thank you very much.
All right, great question. The last, I guess, is Modulus. You do have speaker rights, sir. If you did have a follow-up question, apologies if we cut you off a little bit early there. But do we have any other questions? Okay. What do you think, Mr. Pap? Mr. Pappy, is it about that time?
I think so, sir. I think that concludes this week's call. So everyone that joined us, really, truly appreciate all the questions. Love the participation. The remaining NFT giveaways, keep an eye out. We will be announcing those very soon. So have a good weekend, everyone. And thanks, Aaron and Mr. for joining.
Yeah, thanks, everyone. Have a happy Friday and a great weekend. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. Bye bye. Take care.